concert. For those of you who I haven't had an opportunity to meet before, I'm Nancy Turrell. I'm the Executive Director of Martin Arts, and we are very happy to have you in our beautiful home, the Courthouse Cultural Center, and for you to see and spend the evening not only listening to some wonderful music, but enjoying this beautiful all-Florida juried art show. This show opened up on Friday night. You can see there are some awards around, the award winners. Artists hail from all corners of the state of Florida, so when you read the tags, it tells you where their hometown is. There's a good number of local artists, but there's also many artists who are, Panhandle, Keys, all over the place in Florida. It's highly competitive to get into this show. We had over probably close to 500 different pieces of artwork submitted. And if you wanted to count, and I actually haven't counted, Tom could probably tell me how many pieces because he helped hang. But we probably have in the neighborhood of 50 to 60 pieces in here. So it is not an easy show to find your way into. So this is some of the best work, in the juror's opinion, of what's being created by working and living artists today in the state of Florida. So I encourage you to look around and enjoy. Yes, ma'am.
Please tell everybody the first prize is in this corner because I missed it.
Thank you for that. Yes, first place is right there. Second is back here. A couple honorable mentions in that wall, and the other awards are in the other gallery. Many of you know we do this every month, so come back. Next month we'll have Valentine's Love Songs with Mariana Colazzo and Dr. Marie Jury Beamish on the piano. She's also the founder of this series, so we're hats off, but she's out cruising Antarctica for, I don't know, the 6th or 7th or 8th time, I have no idea. But she's living her best life, and I love that for her. We also have a couple small things coming up on our calendar besides this gallery exhibition. A little thing we've been doing since 1988 called Arts Fest. We are introducing this year the art of food and wine, so you can enhance your Arts Fest experience in this very specially curated area where some of our local best restaurants, places like Oak and Ember and Palm and Ivy, will be offering bites, and some vineyards and wineries from across the country and the world will be offering sips, so you can sip some wine. Even American Icon Brewing from Vero Beach will be there, so it'll be a fun, elevated, enhanced event within it. We are partnering with an organization called the Treasure Coast Charity Wine Festival to make all of that happen this year. So watch your emails, sign up, join us. It's going to be a blast. And if you aren't a member, I encourage you to consider becoming a member of Martin Arts. The $5 if you paid admission to come to this concert tonight would go away because tickets to this event come complimentary with membership. So it pays to be a member because of the free benefits that we offer for things like that. So with no further ado, I saw him waiting in the wings. I'm very happy to turn the program over to the musician of the day, Mr. Tom Servinsky, who is going to entertain you with some jazz piano this evening. And there's a seat there, there's a seat here, there's one in the middle there, one over there. Your choice. Tom, the floor is yours. Or the stage is yours. I'm sorry,
I always like to see a nice crowd. Thank you. To get a good crowd in a place like this is always good. Today, there will be a quiz at the end. So, no, I try to make this fun and entertaining, but more importantly, I try to make this informative. So as I go through a lot of these tunes, I'm not just going to be playing, but you're going to learn about the tune. You're going to learn how it's constructed. And hopefully, when you hear it on the radio or you hear it in a commercial, it's like, oh. And all of a sudden, you can win a Trivial Pursuit over this. So I have one request for the first song. We're going to meditate, and I want you to close your eyes. Tonight, I'm going to be doing a bunch of Bill Evans style pieces. Anyone know Bill Evans, the great jazz pianist, my hero? And Bill Evans kind of revolutionized the whole jazz harmony, and he was really the poet of the piano for jazz. I liken him to Ravel in the classical world, or Debussy, where they opened up the whole plethora of making a very transparent, very gorgeous sound, and not trying to copy what was done prior. So enjoy. Close your eyes, please. Am I fully sharp? Do we have good snappers here? Keep the beat, please. Who wrote that song? It's on the quiz. Duke Ellington. And it don't mean a thing. So let's keep it going on the swing. Here we go. Old Nat King tune. Nat King Cole tune. Route 66, a great tune. Of course, Nat King Cole made it famous. Natalie Cole, remember, she made the remake of all his stuff and took it from there. I was very fortunate. I got to take lessons from the guy who recorded on her album. Wow. John Prue, yeah, marvelous player, very tasteful. So the next time if you ever hear that recording, that's him in the background. So now I'm going to go back into the Bill Evans things. So one of the fun things with this Bill Evans is he really revamped the way harmony was being understood. In the past, if you would hear an F7 chord, you'd hear something like that. But Bill Evans turned it upside down, and he created this sound. But with a bass player, it sounds like this. Sounds fine. Without the bass player, hip. Voicings, and what it does, it allows the player a lot more flexibility, but for the listener, it's forcing you to kind of follow where's it going. And it's not really clearly defined as we're accustomed to, but actually the listener is actually filling in the spots. It's brilliant the way he did it. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to do about 4 Bill Evans tunes. From his transcriptions I took, and I embellished them and kind of tried to make them a little more of my own. But these are fun. These are very tasteful, and I just listen very carefully. You'll hear these voicings coming in and out that just have that je ne sais quoi. It's like going to a nice restaurant, and that chef puts that right seasoning on something. And you take that bite and you think, oh, it's delicious. And you would just absorb it. You just enjoy that moment. Music can do the same way when it's done in the appropriate time. I'm going to guess, no one's going to guess this tune, but it was written by Michel Legrand. So if you do guess it, you might get the prize.
Oh, what's the prize?
Sarah Vaughan made this popular in the 50s. It was a very sad song. Very sad song. It was a breakup song. One of the saddest breakup songs ever. Hint. Recognize the tune? I will say goodbye. I don't want you anymore. Get out of here. Leave me alone. I want to be by myself. Literally, those are the, if you listen to the lyrics, and this is the Michel Legrand tune. It doesn't get a lot of airtime, but it's just a beautiful tune. Here's one that I'm sure everyone knows. You better know this one. Again, with the Bill Evans flair. season. So that came from what movie?
Alfie.
Thank you. Okay, so we're good. And who starred in that movie?
Michael Hay.
Oh, good. You guys came prepared. Okay. That's a beautiful tune. And who wrote that? Someone is getting an A for the day. So yeah, Burt Bacharach. So a little connection to little tiny Stuart, Florida. One of my clients, during the day I take care of pianos. By night I play. And one of my clients is a well-known artist, very amazing pianist. And his big claim to fame was he was Frank Zappa's keyboardist for 20 years. Big chops, big chops. At 16, he won the Montrose Jazz Festival. He got first place, second place, Billy Joel that year. So yeah, but anyhow, he now resides in Jupiter. And I hear all the war stories from him, all the fun stuff. But we started talking about Burt Bacharach. He says, Burt was an amazing composer, but he self-doubted himself all the time. He would come up with an idea and he says, oh, no one will like it. And he would be literally in the recording studios and he would melt down. He would just melt down and he said, I can't do this. And they were, 3/4 through a tune. So my client would be called in to kind of bail him out. And this is one of the tunes he helped him out with. Yes?
Are you talking about Don Preston?
No.
Because he was with Zappa. He was a keyboard player with Zappa, with mother's invention.
Well, no, this is Peter Wolf. Peter was the name.
Oh, all right.
So Peter, by the way, was voted the #2 influential musician in Austria, in Vienna.
Wow.
#1, Mozart. He's #2, Mahler 3, Strauss 4. So he's way up there on the list, but he's great. But he also became Natalie Cole's producer, and now he's a film composer. So anyhow, it's kind of fun to hear him talk about Burt Bacharach, and as great of a composer was, internally he had some demons he was always trying to fight. Right. Another good Bill Evans transcription. This is a tune you all should know. Kind of a seasonal thing, especially from north. by marriage, by family, or whatnot, and basically you're related somehow, some way. What's always fascinating with me with music is how one song is very related to another song. And most importantly, what I'm going to be talking about is the structure of it, what's underneath. And I'm going to be doing one of the great tunes, All the Things You Are. But there was this other group called the Beatles. And the Beatles, amazingly, were using just about every style imaginable because they were listening, they were absorbing everything. And they had the ability to just regurgitate what's around them and put it into their own musical language, their own musical words. Paul McCartney grew up listening to his dad play jazz. His dad was a sax player. He dabbled on piano. That's what Paul heard growing up. And what you find with a lot of the Paul tunes, he's borrowing from the American Songbook. He had that in the back of his head, even though he couldn't read a note of music at the beginning stages as the Beatles were developing. Couldn't read it. Couldn't read sheet music, as we even know it. But yet, he understood the musical knowledge, he understood the roadmaps, and he was able to put this into a way that people understood it and found it very transparent. So, All the Things You Are, it's a famous tune. And anyone know the circle fifths? Fancy word? Okay, so we've got some few musicians in here. Circle fifths, if you would think of a clock, like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, so forth, going around. Circle fifths basically means that there is a musical route that can happen. And there are rules that push it forward. So for example, if we were in C major, and I was doing this all day long, imagine I was going down the middle of the street, middle lane, doing this for hours. Eventually I said, I'm going to turn left here. I'm going to put my turn signal. Hear that pull? And now I'm making my left-hand turn. Now I'm going down the middle of the lane. Now I'm going to put a left turn signal on. So each time when I added that little note, that seventh note, what it's doing is pulling me to that next chord, the next chord. And so that's literally going around the circle of fifths. Autumn Leaves did that exact same thing. That's how it was set up. So All the Things You Are, the next chord. All right? Now here's the relationship. Michelle. Great tune. Same chords, only one little difference. Instead of this first chord, this is what he does. Same. Brilliant. One little slight little change, and all of a sudden, he's changed the entire complexity of that circle of fifths and then made it his own. So let's, I'm going to get into both tunes. So All the Things You Are. Anyone familiar with the Charlie Parker rendition of this? So Charlie Parker was a bebopper, and he added a whole new style to the jazz world. So we're going to put a little Charlie Parker into it. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I am human. Sorry about the mistakes. One of the things that's always a challenge, I do a lot of cocktail playing, and sometimes you have to play 150 tunes in a night, 3 hours.
Whoa.
It's a lot. And with a lot of these songs that are closely resembling to each other, and you're in the middle of the cocktail gig, and someone comes up and starts talking to you with their drink, and hey, how are you doing? And it's a hard tune, a very complex tune. And all of a sudden I'm thinking, where the hell am I? I don't know where I am in the tune. And it happens. Sometimes you just lose your words. So I apologize for that. Okay, so we were with the circle fifths. Now, one little change, instead of F minor, F major. And in my opinion, this is the most complex and most beautiful song that the Beatles did. Steps in as far as beautiful chords, another Beatles tune that doesn't get as much airplay, but in my opinion, it's one of the most touching storylines. When had anyone in here had the pleasure of seeing our Beatles concerts that we did at the Lyric? So we used a full orchestra. Tom was there. Yeah, we used a full orchestra, and then with a really good Beatles band, and I did it with McCartney Mania, and then eventually Liverpool Live. But it was so much fun to really dive in, because I got to do all the orchestrations. So to kind of, I'd hear these tunes all my life, and now could you put that on pen and paper and make it into a big sound with the band? It was like a Moody Blues type of approach. So anyhow, so we were doing the full Sgt. Pepper's album. It was the 50th anniversary, and we wanted to do the entire album beginning to the end, just like the album, with all the sound effects, everything. And we captured it all. One of the tunes on there, which was the last tune that I had to write the orchestration for, was She's Leaving Home. And I didn't know, I heard it, but I didn't really know the tune. I'd never really studied the tune. So now I had to open the score, I had to really start to study it. And then I listened to the lyrics, you know, Monday morning. Well, it was a true story that a 14-year-old girl in London had fallen in love with the Beatles, and she ran away. And before she ran away, she left a note for her parents. I'm leaving. And this is what's really brilliant with 20-year-olds writing this music. They were acting like 50-year-olds because they were almost speaking the voice of a parent who, you know, you have that attachment, you have that bond with your child, and all of a sudden, how can that child leave me? So Paul read that in the newspaper, and he says, this is a song. And out of that came She's Leaving Home. Listen to the chords on this. Absolutely beautiful. And it makes for a beautiful jazz rendition. Tough key, E major for you music majors out there. I'll just go through the chords first. Orchestra. All right. I was told to play a lot of Beatles tonight, just so you know. So I hope you don't mind. And a lot of Paul tunes. I find, for me anyhow, I find his approach to music writing more in line with how I hear things. I think he's very inventive. He has a way of storytelling that's very compassionate, but underlying the musical structure is always beautiful. This song does not need an introduction. What I do with this tune is I kind of make it into a Memphis blues halfway through. So bear with me. Paul, sorry. But it's kind of fun.
So that kind of gives you a little background on some of these tunes. We're going to finish up with one of my favorite composers. I got to tour with this group back in 2002, and the great composer Antonio Carlos Jobim. And he had just died. He was 53 years old. He died on the operating table. He had appendicitis. They gave him the wrong medication, and he died on the operating table, 53 years old, national treasure. So what the Beatles were to the United States, Jobim was for Brazil, and an amazing, amazing artist. His music is hard. You cannot fake it. It's the changes that he does are so precise and so well thought out. And if you're in the middle of a cocktail gig and you're playing Jobim tunes, you better know where you're going, because you will get lost. I'm going to do two Jobim tunes, two of my favorites. Triste. Anyone know that tune? Hey, we have a musician back there. So another sad song. That's on par with I Will Say Goodbye. Triste is leave me alone. I want to be by myself. I don't need you. Get out of here. Ella Fitzgerald made it popular very early on. Of course, the Jobim style really laid the groundwork for the bossa nova. So the bossa nova was very rhythmic. It had a style to the rhythm that it just wants to make you dance. It's that good. And when I toured with this group, it was kind of fun. It was a quintet. They brought in my client, who I was doing a lot of work with, and he became the pianist, and he did all the arrangements. So they went to Jobim's house, and they found all these scores that were never recorded. So they decided, let's do this in a whole new light. So it was kind of classical jazz. It was not hardcore jazz,
but they used piano, electric cello, acoustic guitar, and then they used earthy percussion. So the earthy percussion, basically, instead of a drum set, the percussionist had a little carpet area, and he knelt the whole time. His bass drum was a toy bass drum that was no bigger than this. It sat on the ground like this. His snare drum was a phone book sitting on top of a drum box. So it was a drum box maybe 18 inches tall or so, with this 3-inch phone book on top, and he would put brushes on top. And when that was mic'd correctly, it gave you that. So if you ever listen to some of the really good Jobim recordings, that's what's in the background. It's not a drum set player, just doing it. It's this very earthy, organic percussion quality. It's very good. So as a pianist, the hard part is to capture that rhythmic quality, and I'll do my best. Of course, a button would come on. Start. After the last tune, you have to sing. I need everyone to go, roll for me, Panima. Start the quiz now. We'll pass the papers around and see how well you did. Did anyone get all the tunes that I did? Anyone? So I will say goodbye. Screwed everyone up, right? Well, thank you for coming. I hope you enjoyed it. Kind of a different approach to a Tuesday afternoon concert.
Love it.